people in the US still celebrate Independence Day. Like, if you knew the real holiday, the actual holiday, and if you had even a fraction of a percent of human decency and dignity, you'd never celebrate this holiday again. You had a bunch of white cracker-ass motherfuckers fighting over land that isn't even theirs. And that's just the tipping point. Before the date of July 4th, 1776, America took its time to boost up their slave count, with 200,000 active black people forced into slavery. This nation was so juiced in with the blatant extermination of the roughly 10,000 indigenous tribes, going on to unaliving over 56 million indigenous people in the next 100 years, past the first, quote, celebration of independence in 1776. I also want you to remember that in that year, while these cracker were signing their little independence from Britain, this little document of theirs excluded not just black and brown people, but indigenous people. And even some white women. Article 1, Section 2, Paragraph 3 of the US Constitution states that African Americans were 3/5 human beings. I mean, they didn't even think these people were fully human. Just seriously, think about that for 1 minute. Frederick Douglass said in his famous speech in 1852 at the Corinthian Hall in Rochester, New York, "What to the slave is the 4th of July?" And those words still linger in 2024. Dude, by that time, so much shit had already happened to black people. I mean, I already gave you one. They were considered 3/5 human beings. Mental. See, by 1789, this little glorious country of yours enacted something called the Fugitive Slave Clause, which was a massive highlight in the Constitution. It said if an enslaved person or indentured servant escaped captivity and fled to another state, that person held to service and labor was required to be returned to his or her slaver in the state of which they escaped from.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, don't worry. It wasn't a clause for long, because 4 years later in 1793, Congress passed the Fugitive Slave Act, making it law, which resulted into many free black Americans illegally being sold into slavery, even though they were free on paper.